good, you're not good. The religion you are is based upon the people that colonized and enslaved you. So, but where's the religion in the Bible? Where's Christianity? Why is it one Bible, one word, but different interpretations of a book? Divide and conquer. You have a different person selling a different product to a different people. Our government was according to the laws of God. Right. This Bible is the black man's government. Right. This Bible is the Latino man's government. Right. This Bible is the black and Latino man's constitution. Right. It was never a religious book. Prior to the natives, or prior to America, the British, the French, the Spaniards coming to the side of the world, you had everything. You have cocoa, you have banana, you have bread, you have sugar, you have wealth, you have gold, diamonds, rubies, and oil. But Colombia is supposed to be one of the richest countries in the Western Hemisphere, but you have to come to another man's country to sustain yourself. So your comfortability is built off of blood. Now check this out, 28.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 48.
Verse 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
So this is Moses speaking to the Israelites after we came out of Egypt. But it shall come to pass, meaning it's going to happen in the future, right? Stay with me, come on.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Read.
to observe to do all his commandments.
The Bible gives us laws, statutes, and commandments. Nowhere in the Bible you can read. Think about it. What's your religion currently?
Well, to be honest with you, like, I follow God. Like, I've been really getting into this stuff because, like, I've been searching for the truth. You know?
Okay.
So, like, the whole Yahuwah, like, when I've been praying now, like, I've been, like, praying to the east. I've been saying
So
his
you're coming
name.
to understanding.
Yeah, I'm
of who you are.
Yes.
You started the process.
Yeah.
So prior to that, before you start, did you go to church on Sunday?
No.
You never went to church?
I've gone to church before, Christian church.
Christian church, where you brought up a Roman Catholic, the majority of Latinos.
Yes. In the beginning, it was Roman Catholic, but then I realized, like, what they did.
Yes, what they did, exactly. So what they did, so you now you start to realize the religion that you was brought up in, the education that you was taught, everything has been a lie. And you've been taught to worship a people that genocides your whole race.
And, like, also, like, they made him white. Like, he doesn't even look like that.
Exactly. So what color is Christ?
He's, I mean, you know, dark skin.
Dark skin, a black man, right? So-called black man, right?
Yeah.
And excellent. I'm glad you know. That's a good starter. A lot of people don't even have those starting grounds. Right. They don't have the foundation. So
The
now,
Catholic Church is really bad, man.
Very bad.
They stole everything from everybody.
Exactly,
They
exactly.
have it under the basement. Like,
exactly. I know. So what's your name, brother?
Ken.
Ken, my name is Joel. What I like about you, Ken, is you have a foundation that we can build off of. So you have some type of establishment. And you, like I said, it's something different about Ken. Because even though you got the Camaro, I'm not saying the Camaro's not bad. Because we like nice cars. Men like shiny things, substance, right? But make sure it's balanced. You know, our life, because sometimes we live our life for ourselves and don't see the outer picture of the community. Like, for example, some of us have good jobs, good substance, things like that. But the difference between us right now is we see the outer picture of our community. If one suffered, we all suffer. But that's why as men of knowledge, we got to learn with the truth. And we got to go out there and teach our people and spread the knowledge. Because each one teach one. And that's how you spread, and that's how you convert a nation from lies into truth. Now read verse 15 again.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments.
All his commandments, read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Because when we came out of the land of Egypt, we came out as a nation. Under Egypt, we were slaves, so we didn't have our own empire, meaning we didn't have our own government, we didn't have our own transportation system, we didn't have our own banking institution, our own educational system, we didn't have our own religious institution. So when we came out under the banner of Egyptian philosophy. The Lord re-identified us, restructured us, and gave us a foundation. A foundation was built off his laws and commandments. He didn't give us the foundation of religion. He didn't give us the foundation of Catholicism. He didn't give us the foundation of Christianity, Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists. All these religions that we were taught was built up of the foundation of the masters that ruled over us. Under the Spaniards, they came over, colonized North America and South America. That's why you became Roman Catholic. They came into the shores of Africa. The Portuguese came and colonized us, Jamaica. Most Jamaicans are Seventh-day Adventists based upon the people that colonized Jamaica.
Bring it out.
So you are, the religion you are, is based upon the people that colonized and enslaved you. So, but where's the religion in the Bible? Where's Christianity? Why is it one Bible, one word, but different interpretations of a book?
Bring it out.
Divide and conquer. You have a different person selling a different product to a different people.
Yeah. I even think that the reason why the tribes ended up here wasn't coincidence. Like, they knew that they had to get them away from the land.
Exactly.
Steal their knowledge, Don't let them connect to the true God.
Exactly.
Because then they'll be fucked. I'm sorry, excuse my
I'm sorry,
language.
you good.
Because then they'll be messed up.
Yeah.
And then, because we're supposed to be the ones ruling the world. Because
Exactly.
there'll be peace, there'll be harmony, there'll be balance.
Ken, what do you congregate, Ken?
I know.
You don't congregate.
I would love to.
Ken, you need to congregate with us. I love your foundation. Right. You know, you've been watching YouTube?
YouTube, and I have a brother who because I work at Hoboken Medical Center as a painter.
Yes.
And he is an HVAC, and he's been the one teaching me.
Excellent. What's his name?
His name is Michael.
Michael, okay.
Yeah.
Where's it's in Jersey.
Yeah, it's in Hoboken.
Hoboken, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Does he say what congregation he's a part of?
No, he didn't. But
Okay.
he likes to eat healthy. He's
All right.
like
So he's the
the one put it.
Do we have anybody named Michael? Is he Latino?
No.
Black.
He's
Do we have
African-American.
anybody named Michael?
I'm gonna talk to him, but you have some contact.
Right there, Israelite Christ. But check this out, verse 48.
Verse 48.
No, finish verse 15.
Verse 15.
Uh-huh.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day,
Read.
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So it says, all these curses shall come upon us and overtake the best. Overtaking people. Overtaking people, accursed people, you're going to be able to identify them by their mental health conditions.
Right.
Our people mentally are psychologically destroyed. Yeah. I mean, give verse 28 real quick. I mean, look at that. Just for a second. Is that normal?
No, but I have to. Like myself, I have to pray all the time.
Yo, think about it. We all good until we're not good. Until you're in the hospital bed. You drugged up. You hit rock bottom.
Right.
You go to the health clinic. You find out that you got AIDS. You got the bug. And then now you want to search for God.
Right.
Now after everything goes bad, that's what I'm saying. You think you're good. You're not good.
Right.
Until you hit rock bottom, why not stop in the tracks of your sin?
Right.
But people realize that. But read that last verse again.
Verse 15.
The last part.
Which I command thee this day,
All these what?
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Overtake you. Now verse 28.
Verse
so
28.
overtake is to be able to, meaning it becomes a part of your character. It becomes a part of your speech. People overtake it. That's why when you look at black people, you say, damn, what's wrong with these people?
Right.
The women walk around undressed improperly.
Right.
The men are walking around gangsters, killing each other, slinging,
Bring it out.
beating each other up, murder. And you're like, how do these people, how do we read about, how you doing, my brother? Where you from? You from here? What's your nationality? Jamaica. Like you hear about the Maroons, you hear about Nana, you hear about all the great acts that the Jamaicans did, but now you see it, you look at the history of the Jamaican people, how did it get colonized? Jamaicans are fierce.
Right.
I mean, they're mighty people, but how did they get colonized? Why is Jamaica, how you doing, brother? You good? You want me to come? The money? It's more than the money.
Resources.
Hey, party right here, brother. Come up. Come politics with me real quick. Yo, check this out. As strong as Jamaican people are, how can the British come and colonize and overthrow them when a white boy can't stand in a match with a black man?
Bring it out.
At all. They're not faster than us. They're not more intellectual than us.
Bring it
They're
out.
not stronger than us.
Right.
They don't have anything, even health-wise, they don't even have the health conditions more than us. They can't even stand in the sun longer than us.
Right.
But how is it that that type of race of people was able to conquer and colonize us? It's because of the curses. God gave us laws, statutes, and commandments
We have to follow them.
that we have to follow.
Things flip.
And flip, think about it. We had our own government. We had our own laws. Give me that Maccabees chapter 7, verse 11. Second Maccabees chapter 4, verse 11. Meaning the laws, people think of the Bible, right? They look at it as a religious book. The Bible's never a religious book.
Right.
Religion comes from the word religios, meaning to hold back, to bind, to discipline yourself. We are an undisciplined nation of people. Black men, what do? We let our flesh rule us, dictate us, our desire for money, our desire for women. And then what happens? The food. Look at it. Overweight, gluttonous, whoremongers. And think about it. And a lot of times you know it's wrong. I gotta stop overeating.
Yeah.
I gotta stop sexing up all these women. I gotta stop smoking blunts. You know it's wrong, but you keep doing it because subconsciously your mind saying it's not right. Why? Because there's a spirit in you to tell you it's not right. Read 101.
Second Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 11. And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eutychus, who went ambassador to Rome for enmity and aid. He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law.
The what?
The governments which were according to the law.
Our government was according to the laws of God. Right. This Bible is the black man's government. Right. This Bible is the Latino man's government. Right. This Bible is the black and Latino man's constitution. Right. It was never a religious book. The Bible's put in place. Give me that. The laws are made for the righteous man. The Bible was put in place to establish law and order. Right. Law and order. The black community is the most disorderly community. What? Patterson, New Jersey. Everywhere you go, black people, Latino people, filth, garbage, drug addiction, crack vials. You smell weed. Why is it that I walk in a community, only thing I smell is weed? You see black men hanging out at the street corners. There's no law, there's no order. Without law, there's disorder. And that's why we're the most disorderly people. We don't have a government because our government was established off of what? God's laws. And then when you don't keep his laws, which is his government, you start to be placed under another government.
How many laws are like 500 or something like that?
This is the thing. They say there's over about 613 laws, but there's laws based upon animal sacrifice. There's laws based upon the temple, the priests, meaning purification laws, sacrificial laws. There's laws based upon how to, like for example, we have laws of fornication. There's Leviticus 18 talks about terms of laws of fornication, not having sex outside of your marriage, not having sex with an animal, not having sex on your woman's menstrual cycle. Right. When she's bleeding. Did you know about that?
Yeah, but I don't do that. But yeah,
running the red lights.
Yeah.
So there's laws on that.
Yeah.
But if you keep the
what
laws,
applies to you?
Yes. So think about it. If you keep one, a lot of times you're keeping most of the laws that apply to it. So the laws. Think about it. The laws. This is the flesh. Read that real quick.
Book of 1 Timothy, chapter 1 and verse 9.
Read.
Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man.
The law was not made for a righteous man. Are we righteous? No, we're not. If we're righteous, we don't have a righteous nation.
The world will be different.
The world will be different.
Yeah.
So the world's not righteous. You go to the black and Latino community, it's nothing good.
Right.
It's overly policed because why? If it's over policement,
A lot of liquor stores.
A lot of liquor stores.
A lot of things to corrupt us more.
Means to corrupt us, right?
Yeah, it means to corrupt us.
Why? Because
sneaker
they
stores, materialistic shit.
Yeah, you know why? Because they made it based upon the man's black. They study black people. They say, what do they like? They're materialistic people. Right. They had everything I want, and it's in their nature. It's in our nature. We like nice things.
Yeah.
But we've been put in its flesh to be able to discipline it in a world, in a sinful world. This whole thing's a test for the Israelites. Right. Let's see if I can put them in the worst place scenario. How they able to overcome it? How are they able to rise up from the dust?
And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people are waking up. I just been the last 6-7 months that I've been really reading into all of this shit. I mean, all of this stuff. I'm sorry,
all of this important information.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the
all of this. I apologize.
Yes.
I've been learning about all of this, and I've been waking up myself. I've been doing things a little different. Like I said, when it applies to me, 'cause it has to do with women, with my girl. I try to keep boundaries as well, eating wise. I want to smoke less. I'll be honest, I do smoke.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's one of your devices.
Yeah, I want to work out more. I want to eat healthier.
Now check this out. You said you smoke less, right?
Eat less meat.
Now, why do you smoke?
Because life is stressful.
Life is stressful. Because of life is stressful, give me 1 Corinthians 2:16. Yeah. And you said something earlier. I'm going to touch
work
back
a lot.
Yeah. So life is
always
stressful.
Working.
You work a lot.
I see my daughter and my wife and my dog 2 hours a day. Out of the whole day.
I know.
And I wake up at 5 and I go to sleep every day at 10:30 at night. And only see them 2 hours a day because I have 2 jobs.
Now check this out, right? Life is stressful. Now, why will we curse as a people? Because we didn't do what?
Follow the law?
Yeah, we didn't keep the commandments, so curse will come upon us. Verse 48 now. Get it back to the point that was earlier. So life is stressful. You work 2 jobs. You have a daughter, you have children that you barely see. Check this out. Verse 48.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Because we didn't want to keep the commandments. We didn't want to subjugate ourselves to the Lord. We don't want to discipline ourselves to God's statutes. Right. He said, therefore, because you don't want to serve me with joyfulness and gladness of heart, you don't want to fully submit yourself unto me. Therefore, on contrary wise, you're going to have to do what?
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Now, because you didn't want to serve me, now you're going to have to serve your enemies. The people that you read in the history books, you read about the Spanish Empire coming to conquer the Incas in Colombia, the Incas of Peru. The Incas, they took the resources of your land and they enslaved the men, massacred, wiped out a high portion of the people, raped the woman, they lighted up the skin tone, took you as slaves, took ownership and colonized your country, took you back to Spain, enslaved you, and then called you Colombia.
Wake them up.
Crazy.
So therefore, God said, you don't want to subjugate yourself to me. You don't want to worship and serve me. I'm going to send your enemy against you. I'm going to send the worst of all the nations against you, the Spaniards. I'm going to send the people that call themselves conquerors that were in the prisons, the worst of them that came for the jail. So give me that. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 13.
So basically, we did this to ourselves.
Oh, you're 100%.
And we're the only ones that could change it.
Exactly. We hold the future, the weight of it. I'll say we hold the future in the balance of our decisions. Read that.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 7 and verse 24. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen.
The Bible says, because we broke his commandments, therefore I'm going to bring the worst of the heathen. You have the Chinese, the Japanese, the Arabs. Out of all the nations, the Africans, every nation ever created. God says, you want to keep breaking my commandments? I'm going to raise up an empire of people, a race of people that came from the Caucasus Mountains and the caves of Russia and Georgia.
Bring it out.
That came, that didn't even know how to bathe, didn't even know how to clean themselves. Lived in the caves of rural Europe. That had no knowledge. The people that we civilized, that we taught them how to bathe. We taught them how to build architecture, structure, education. We taught them consolation. We taught them everything they know. God says, I'm going to bring these people out of the cave of Europe. They're going to rise up and they're going to conquer you one at a time. The worst of the heathen. I'm going to take the prisoners, the ones that are jailed, the rapers, the game bangers. I'm going to take all of them, the worst people that you can think possible. And I'm going to do what?
Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses.
And the worst of the heathen I'm going to send against you, and they're going to possess your houses. They're going to possess the land of Israel and America. Oh, you thought you could run to the other side of the world. You think that you could escape God's judgment. God says, no, I see you on the other side of the world. I'm going to send a man named Christopher Columbus. And you think that he discovered it. Columbus didn't discover it. God put the spirit of Columbus, of Hernando Cortez, Diego Velasquez. I'll put the spirit on this man to find you out.
Before that, like because there's 10 tribes that were lost, and that was way before Columbus.
They came to the side of the world, 10 tribes. How you doing, brother? Come here. Come politics with me.
He said when he prays, sometimes he think about this right
Are
here.
you praying with this white man right here? The same white man raping on women? It's all right. You're going to learn today. Where you from?
Here, this is my city.
Okay, it's your city, but what's your nationality?
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, okay. Rich poor. Or pobre rico. Poor, $77 billion in deficit to the nation that rules over us, that gave us these images. That oppress our people to this day. Christ was never white, but you don't know that. You might not know that, but that's what we're building right now. But check this out. Read that.
Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen.
So God says to the Israelites, because brother, what's your name, brother?
My name, they call me Sofrico.
Sofrico? All right, brother. Sofrico and Ken. Hey, Ken, I'm still building a rapport with you. You got a little time?
I'm in a little bit of a rush because
You working?
not working today. I'm actually starting my vacation today, and I'm supposed to go on a trip with my daughter.
This is going to be the height of your vacation.
Yeah, it is.
Check this out real quick. Give me a couple more minutes.
Yeah,
Read.
I got you.
Read.
Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen.
Even in Puerto Rico, when they colonized and conquered Puerto Rico, the Latinos, meaning the Spaniards, the conquistadors, they named you Puerto Rican, but prior to that, yes.
For me, it's all about the intention for anything.
Huh?
It's more about the intention. And for people that are praying to that, it's not their fault because they don't know better.
They don't
That
know.
is wrong.
And
you know
that-
what I mean?
we do a
really,
lot
it's
of
about
things.
for me. I found God in prison. It's about having a good heart, having good intention.
We're gonna build on that. We're gonna build
That's
on
all
that.
it's about.
Yeah, we're gonna build on that. But check this out. Read on.
And they shall possess their houses.
They're gonna possess Puerto Rico. They're gonna possess Colombia. They're gonna possess America. God sent the Spaniards, the conquistadors. They came against us because Puerto Rico, prior to it, we called Puerto Rico meaning rich ports. I think it's by Diego Velázquez or Hernando Cortez or Ponce de Leon. He named it Puerto Rico rich port because when he came there, he saw the ports full of riches. He came, they saw diamonds on your garments.
Right.
But prior to that, they call you Boricua Indians. Boricua is Hebrew for brave lords.
Right.
Now go back to verse 48 now. Come on.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48.
Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Because we weren't keeping God's commandments, we have to serve our enemies. Meaning we have to serve the French, the Dutch, the British, the Spaniards. Right. Read on.
Which the Lord shall send against thee
Which God sent against us. Read on.
in hunger.
Meaning you have to serve your enemies for hunger. The food that Puerto Rico produced, Colombia produced, the Americas produced, they'll colonize it. They're going to take your natural resources and sell it back to you. The land that produced for you, now the people that rules over you, you got to sell it to them. You got to work the fields. You're going to sell it to them. They're going to sell it back to you for a higher price.
Right.
Colonization is called. God sent them against us because the people of Puerto Rico, you look on the side, my brother. You come from the tribe of Ephraim. That's your biblical nationality.
Right.
Ephraim was one of the head tribes that led the tribes, the 10 tribes, to the North Americas.
Right.
I've been looking into it, and like, you all come from
That's the hidden agenda.
they've lied to us.
Who are the Latinos? Who are the Puerto Ricans? Who are the Dominicans? They're the Israelites. Why does our history filled with oppression, jail time,
Right.
gang violence?
Right.
Why is it? Because we're the people of the book that broke God's commandments, that He punished for breaking His commandments, that sent a people to rule over us and to bring us to the bottom, to our demise. Now, you said something earlier. Now, read on.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things.
Anything you want a job, you got to go to your enemies. You don't own your own. You don't own the hospitals. You don't own the banks.
Right.
Everything you want education. Guess who you got to go to? The people that rule, the curriculum that they create. It's the white supremacy. It teaches about George Washington being a great man. When George Washington was called the village destroyer. They teach about Andrew Jackson, the founding fathers, or Mount Rushmore. Andrew Jackson, Theodore Roosevelt being great people. They indoctrinate us, and then they give you Columbus Day. Go to Columbus Day, and they call it, what else do they call Columbus Day? Indigenous. But they call it Latin Heritage Month. They call it Columbus Day, and they put Latin Heritage Month in the same month that Columbus destroy your people. And then they give you a white God to pray to. Not only are we going to destroy you, but you got to come to us for education. You got to come to us for food. You got to come for a high school diploma, a college diploma. You got to come to us for religion. And the religion we're going to give you is a reflection of our people.
They changed his image and they changed his name, so we wouldn't be able to connect to him easily.
Exactly. Now, think about it. You smoke because of distress. You smoke because of stress. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16. Why did we get in a position? Why do you work in the first place?
I have no other choice.
I'll say it again. Why do you work? Do you work for your own people?
I work for my family.
Okay, your family, you have a family business.
Well, yeah, but like I would say, I work for my daughter, for my
No, who employs you?
Oh, well, it's a corporation.
A corporation. Does your people own the corporation?
No, definitely
You
not.
work, right? Do you work for your own business? Entrepreneur. We work for other corporations, right? So think about it. We will smoke as an outlet to escape our reality. We will drink as it means get drunk as an outlet to escape our reality.
Right.
We will have sex. And think about sex as a stress reliever. I mean, you'll have sex with 4 to 5 different women to bust that nut for what? As an outlet to escape from reality. Because you go home, every man when they come home, they need a stress reliever. Sex is a stress reliever.
Right.
To you. So sex is supposed to be natural with your woman, your wife. But you go out to other women, having sex with different women as a stress reliever. Smoking, you use that as a stress reliever because what? Because of the conditions that you're in. The mentality, the mental incarceration that we can't escape. And why? Why do something? You work and stress for something you did. You created the conditions of you working for another man. You created the stress that you're living in, and guess what? You're running back to the same substance that created your reality. Does that make sense? You complain about something you created, and you go right back to the substance that created your reality. Make that make sense? So that means you're walking around the circle. You're repeating the same cycle, and then you're never going to escape it until you die. Isaiah 22 verse 14. You're not going to be free. You keep smoking, you keep on subjugating yourself until your fleshly desires, you're not going to free yourself until death. Isaiah 22 verse 14. Think about it. Black men, you think that when you get older, you get wiser, you stop doing certain things. You don't stop. You don't stop until you stop it yourself. No. You don't stop fornicating until you stop fornicating yourself. Right. You don't stop smoking until you stop smoking yourself. Right. You don't stop getting tattoos until you stop getting tattooed yourself. Right. You have power over your own flesh, but you have to discipline it. Read it.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 22 and verse 14. And it was revealed in my ears by the Lord of hosts. Read. Surely this iniquity shall not be purged from you till ye die. The only way you're going to stop, either if you intervene or you die, and after death, there's no redemption. Right. And don't be sometimes the people who take small things. God knows my heart. Yeah. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 9. Read it. The heart is deceitful above all things. The heart is deceitful. You can build your household over deceitful things. The heart is deceitful, meaning your heart is deceptive. My mind can tell me everyone with a fat ass is good for me, but the consequences is deceptive. Right. Because you don't think about spirit in the moment, child support. You don't think about the spirit in the moment, AIDS, gonorrhea, syphilis. You don't think about the consequences that follow after. For example, in your good intentions, you thinking that smoking cigarettes or weed is a stress reliever, but you don't think about the consequences that follow after them. What about your lungs? What about your health? So not only you repeating the same cycle, but you're killing your body in the process.
Right. Sometimes what I've noticed is like I was practicing self-God. Like all the decisions that I was making was for my benefit. Yeah. And even that is wrong. Yeah. Because the decisions you make should be for balance, and it should be like what benefits everybody, not just yourself. Exactly. And like I think that's where a lot of us fall into that. And I was falling into that. Like if I'm gonna make a business decision, it's supposed to only benefit me the most, right? Sometimes that's the wrong way to look at things.
Yeah, that's the intention behind it, though.
It's intention. Right. But you know what? Our intention is established off of what?
Our own self-interest.
And what is our self-interest established off of? The communication devices that's placing us.
You're absolutely right. And you know how I thought about having the best way for me to be selfish that I feel like, because at the end of the day, as humans, we all gonna do stuff for us, right? But I look at it like I'm satisfied if something were to happen to me, and I just keep spreading on the knowledge. I keep coming here. I'm learning from you. They learning from me, and we spread the knowledge. I feel like that's what it's about. If something would happen to me, then I'm good. You know what I mean? I nobody could buy me. You know what I'm trying to say? Nobody, and that's because I feel content. I feel that's more than money, dying for something and my legacy living on, and people learning from that and using that. And that's how I use my selfishness. If that makes sense.
All of our selfishness was established off a communication device. Give me 1 Corinthians 15. I'm going to show you what is good, because our idea of good was established based upon what? Whatever society. Think about it. We live in a world called whatever they told us. We live in a matrix of information. Information controls your thought process. Right. So your intentions is established based upon the ruling elite that establish your thought. Right. So everything that you do, everything that you think, every decision that you make is not yours. When you eat,
everything creates your reality.
Yes, exactly.
But and that's why people got to be very strategic when they speak, because the way you speak, if you're not real specific, you know, it could be looked at wrong, and it changes the different probabilities of your outcome of life. Exactly. And I didn't realize that. I thought all that shit was stupid until I started paying attention to my history and my experience, paying attention to my future, and I'll ask people questions. I'll try to learn from people. The more I learn from people, the more I understand myself and the universe.
Exactly. We all learn from each other. Now check this out. 1 Corinthians 15. Read.
Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15 and verse 33.
Read.
Be not deceived.
Be not deceived. Remember, it says the heart is deceitful above all. Yeah. Meaning your mind is deceived based upon the information that you receive. Read.
Be not deceived.
Read.
Evil communications corrupt good men.
Evil communications. The TV shows that you watch, every show that you watch that you think that doesn't have a negative outcome or effect on your daily decisions communicates evil thoughts to you.
Right.
Every show is established about stealing, killing, The Wire, or Snowfall, Power, or Game of Thrones.
Right.
Name me one righteous show that you watch. Every show is established on, even though we get caught up, we like fighting, we like all the action, we watch it, but at the end, what is it doing? It's planting seeds within your thoughts.
Yeah.
And then every day you wake up, you think you make a decision. No, your decision was decided the day that you turn that TV on. Now, I'm not saying don't watch TV.
They're creating the villains.
Exactly. They create the people. Think about it. They create the conditions of the people by communicating the way they want us to think. Like, for example, what type of music do you listen to?
I like hip hop.
Like, name some artists.
Moneybag Yo.
Okay, Moneybag Yo.
Lil Baby.
Little Baby.
Biggie.
Biggie. Now let me ask you a question. Measure their life. Biggie, Moneybag Yo, Baby. Measure their life. What type of life do they live in terms of, do they live as what the society would consider a blue-collar job or upright citizen? What society? Like, you know, like for example, family, are they family men?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know, you do know.
We only know what they show us.
Okay, but what you see,
like
the
with
reality. It's a part of the reality. What you see, a man, like I said, a man's gonna be judged based upon his attire, his gait, his conduct, the way he dressed.
Yeah.
So, based upon what you see, do you look at him as a model person that you want to pattern yourself after? Are you sure?
In a certain sense, yeah, but not really. In a financial sense, a stability sense, but
Yeah.
as far as
How do they get their finances? So that means,
Influencing others.
so what did Biggie do to get his finances?
he worked hard.
Like what? Selling drugs.
That's right.
So now the music that you listen to, it's gonna put thoughts in your mind. That's the height of your reality in terms of how to provide for my family. Rather than get a regular job to provide the normal way, upright and law established, meaning you establish the things without breaking God's law. You know that we were cursed as a people. We had to work for another nation of people. So let me work with the confines of the Bible so that I break God's laws. But you're polluting your thought process based upon the communication of a man that sells drugs. Like I was watching the show The Wire. You ever watch The Wire?
I heard of it.
Okay, so what they do is like for The Wire, a lot of shows, you have men. This one scene named Avon. He's like the top drug dealer. And then you have his nephew. His nephew's name D'Angelo. So D'Angelo, he's about to he got caught by the cops for a kilo of drugs. So they said, well, we're gonna give you a decision to make. Either you could give up everybody, give up your cousin, give up his whole operation, his drug operation, or you could spend 20 years in prison. He said, yo, I want to start my life over again. I don't want to live like this. I want a new beginning. I want to have a family, because you know in your mind what you're doing is evil.
Right.
So the mother came and convinced him. She said, yo, he says, think what you're going to do. You're going to affect not only your cousin, you're going to affect me, you're going to affect your cousins, your sisters, you're going to affect everybody in your household. If they destroy our business, then we're going to be looking for scraps. And then the other guy, Avon, said, he said, yo, I want you guys to put more product on the street. I want to see more bodies on the ground. So you're feeding your family and killing the nation.
Bring it out.
Right. And that's what you're listening to. You listen to men that feed their family, feed their own lust to drive the nicest car, have the nicest house, and women, and destroying the community of people. They're creating drug dealers, they're creating gang bangers, they're creating thieves, they're creating murderers, they're creating illegitimate fathers, they're creating single mothers. And this is the communication, so your action is going to be based upon the communication devices that you're allowing within your spirit. Right. Read it again.
Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
Evil, the music you listen to, the shows that you watch, the commercials. Somebody communicated to you that have a cigarette for your stress levels.
Right.
Tobacco commercials, the camel commercials, they push it. They push it. It's subliminal messages. They push it. How does tobacco relieve your stress? Think about it. Or weed. Smoke weed? Yeah. Okay. How does weed relieve your stress? Weed makes you stupid. I just smoke crazy weed. And the only outcome I have from weed is this. I remember one time I smoked a blunt. And then I went to class right after that. And this is the teacher. Yo, Mr. Israel, blah, blah, blah. I'm like this. My damn lip hanging off. Like this. That makes you stupid. Once the high goes down, you go down. So stop your stress. Increase more stress. Boom. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16. Check this out. This is for you.
Book of 1 Corinthians.
Read
Chapter
that.
3 and verse 16.
Read. Come on.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
So the Bible says, know ye not, Ken, right? That your body is the temple of God. Read.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
Read.
And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?
The Spirit of God, which is the laws of God, is supposed to inhabit your mind. Read on.
If any man defile the temple of God,
You defile the temple with your weed smoking and cigarette smoking and eating clean, unclean foods outside of the dietary law, which you got to learn. Go on.
him shall God destroy.
How is God going to destroy you? He's going to take your lungs. He's going to take your mind, your brain. Eventually, he's going to take your life. The foods you eat, the things you put on you, even having sex outside of marriage.
Right.
He's going to destroy you with AIDS. Everything for every decision you make. Now, you say that you're about to celebrate your daughter's birthday, right?
Yeah.
Based upon what? What do you find birthdays in the Bible?
That's true.
What is birthdays about? Who are you glorifying?
Bring it out.
Give me that verse.
That's a good question.
Yeah, stand there. Give me Ecclesiastes 7 verse 1. Think about it. You're celebrating what? Black excellence you celebrating? What are you celebrating? Prison, mass incarceration? What are you celebrating? Crack needles? What are you celebrating? Abortion? Gang violence? What are you really celebrating that you're proud of? Read that.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 1. A good name is better than precious ointment.
Come on.
And the day of death than the day of one's birth.
A day of death, you stress because of your conditions. You go to prison, you created, you're selling drugs so that you can feed your family. So a day of one's death is better than one's birth. The day of one's birth, you're born into poverty. You're born into oppression.
Right.
You're born to be a target on your back as soon as you said, what's your last name? Pedro Alejandro.
Dang.
You're born with a target on your back to everybody to devour you. So you celebrated a target on your back. But give me that in Job chapter 1 verse 4. Hey, what's your name, brother? How you doing? What's your name?
My name Ray.
Ray?
Yo, what's good?
We all born with a target on our back, but we celebrate your birthday. The day you was born was the day that you was cursed. You're born into the curse. Give me that. You're celebrating a sin. Birthday is one of the highest celebration of oneself. It's one of the highest satanic holiday because you're worshiping yourself.
Right.
And then you make a birthday cake and you put candles based upon your child, and then you make a wish. Who do you make wishes to? Do you make wishes or you pray to God?
Bring it out.
So who accepts your wishes?
That's a good day.
Who do you make a wish to?
I'm about to stop the whole party.
Who do you make a wish to?
I don't know. Just make a wish, right? So you don't even know who you're making it to.
You are Satan. That's who you make a wish.
been-
God doesn't.
You've been programmed.
Yeah, we've been programmed. God doesn't. There's no wish. God doesn't hear wishes. God hears what? Prayers.
Right.
Check that. Get that real quick. Hold that. Give me Proverbs 20 verse 9. You're making a wish. So bless me with this. Bless me with that. But you're supposed to be making prayers. So check this out. Proverbs 20 verse 9. Read.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law,
If you turn away your ear from hearing God's laws, read.
even his prayer shall be an abomination.
Your prayer is going to be an abomination. Give me that in John 9, verse 31. So your prayer, you turn away your ear from hearing the Lord, so you're making a wish to somebody that's not even hearing your prayer because you're in sin right now. You're smoking weed. You're celebrating birthdays. You're smoking a cigarette.
Right.
You're keeping holidays that has nothing to do with God. It's all based upon paganism.
Right.
You're having sex outside of marriage, but you're making a wish to who? Satan. Your whole life, your foundation is established over Satan. You think you're blessed, but you're not blessed.
Right.
You're blessed in a world that was created by Satan. This whole world has nothing to do with God.
Bring it out.
Drug, fornication, prostitution, killing, murder. And you're making a wish to who? Read that.
Book of John, chapter 9 and verse 31.
Read.
Bring it out.
Now you know that God heareth not sinners.
God don't hear your prayers. That's why you got to make a wish to Satan, because God don't hear your prayers.
Bring it out.
Read.
But if any man be a worshiper of God, and doth his will, him he heareth.
God hears prayers. Meaning you do God's will. You keep his commandments. He's going to hear your prayer. He's going to bless you. Give me Surah 20 verse 9. But your success, your foundation, Your whole life is established off of evil. So how could God hear you if you don't do nothing pertaining to him? You're celebrating a birthday that's sinful. That's not in the Bible. It's a sin to celebrate your birthday. Read that.
Book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 9.
Read.
There is a sinner that hath good success in evil things.
There's a sinner that has good success in evil. Biggie has good success. Little Baby has good success. Little Wayne, Hova, Kanye West.
Right.
All these men have good success. America is a sinner that has good success in evil. Why? Because America's foundation, his kingdom is established over what? So everything, your blessings that you think that's blessing your life, you're not blessed by God.
You're blessed for the other one.
You're blessed by Satan
Right.
himself. Whose kingdom is this right now? Who's ruling the world?
Yeah.
God or Satan right now? Who's ruling this earth right now?
Satan.
Satan's ruling this earth.
Right.
So anything that you do that's outside of the Bible is satanic. That's your God that you serve. You go to church, you think you're celebrating God, you go to church on the wrong day, Sunday. God said, remember my Sabbath day. Everything that you've been doing from the time you were born to the time. Saturday. Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Nothing that you do has anything to do with God. You go to pray, you pray to the devil. You go to work, you're going to work. Everything you contribute has everything to do with Satan. Nobody's worshiping God here. Nobody knows the light. Nobody knows truth. This whole land is in darkness. Read.
Book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 4.
Read.
And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day.
And his son went and feasted in the houses, every one his day. What day did they go and feast in the house? Job 3 verse 1.
Book of Job, chapter 3 and verse 1. After this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day.
Curses what?
Cursed his day.
Cursed his day, read.
And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born.
What day did Job curse? What, you got a question too? Come on, come in, come closer. Read
Book
that.
of Job, chapter 1 and verse 4.
Son, you my sister. Read.
And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day.
What feasts were they celebrating on his day? What day did Job curse? His birthday. So his son feasted on what? His birthday. They had a birthday feast. Read on.
Every one his day. And said it called for their feast, eat and drink and
He was having a birthday party. Read.
And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about,
After all of them celebrated their birthday feasts, read,
that Job sent and sanctified them,
he had to pray for them, read.
and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all.
Read.
For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned.
What did they do?
Have sinned.
His son sinned by doing what? Birthday. What happened to the sons and daughters? Read on.
And cursed God in their hearts.
They cursed God in their heart. When you celebrate your birthday, you're going to celebrate the birthday of your daughter. You're cursing God in your heart because you're celebrating his day, not God's day. You're not keeping God's Sabbath day. You're not keeping Passover. You're not keeping new moons. You're not keeping Feast of Tabernacles, Memorial Bone Trumpet. You're celebrating everything that deals with you. You're selfish. You're worshiping yourself. You are your own God. Yes, sir. Yeah.
To a certain extent, is it sin inevitable?
If you make it inevitable, everybody has a choice.
For sure, but even
Now, we all fall short.
for sure, even if you go by the Bible, still as human beings, it's inevitable to sin at a certain point.
But think about it. There's a difference.
My bad.
Think, now, for example, now, you got to go?
gotta go,
All right,
brother.
brother, so you
Listen,
got some
it was
information,
next
right?
to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, Israelite in Christ. That's where we congregate. We have a congregation in Newark. We have a number.
I was going to tell you.
Yep. Check this out, Joel. Captain Joel. Nice to meet you.
Now, you try to catch yourself, and as long as you're trying, you just gotta catch yourself. Before, when I used to sin all the time, I used to.
Still sinning. What is
Right. When I was bad though. You know what I mean? I don't sin
there's
all the
levels of
time
it.
now.
There's levels of
Right.
it.
I was really bad, it would take forever to catch myself. Now, when I catch myself, I'm like, oh shit, I made a mistake, and I bounce. You gotta bounce back. As long, you know that you're not perfect. If you was perfect, you would be God. But as long as that if you trying, and that's all that matters, bro. Because it
Now
comes
check
from
this
the
out.
heart.
Now check this out. What is sin? Because you said, do people sin all the time, right?
For sure.
What is sin?
What is sin to you? So that's why I'm asking.
Okay, excellent. So what is sin to me now? To me, it gives me my own thoughts. I'm going to go to the Bible, right? 1 John 3, because people sin all the time. People say, even when we follow the Bible, can we still fall into sin? Yes, you can fall into sin. Because we're subject to this flesh. But you have to know what sin is in order to be able to avoid it, right?
Right.
Read that.
Book of 1 John, chapter 3 and verse 4.
Read.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
So whosoever committeth sin transgresseth the law. To transgress means to break. Meaning if I'm a sinner, I'm breaking God's laws. Read on.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
Sin is the breaking of God's laws. Now, there's laws of God that keeps us from our fleshly desires and temptations. You might say, okay, I gotta stop doing bad. What is bad? Sin. Sin is what? When I break God's laws. What is God's laws? Now, for example, we went over laws for birthdays, right? For sure. Now, I have a choice. Like the man right there, the brother, he has a choice, right? He learned right now, birthdays is sin. Now, his daughter's birthday's coming up. He has a choice now. Give me Deuteronomy 30, verse 19. My choice is based upon what I heard in the laws of God. Right now, based upon what I decide is whether or not I'm going to break that law, I'm going to be sinful within that law, or if I'm going to withstand and hold myself for breaking that law. Right. I heard it, so now that I heard it, I got to decide. Decision. Right. Is he going to serve God or serve his who? Daughter, family.
Also, it's not easy. Right. Which makes it more. It gives you more proof that God is real.
Yeah. You know why it's not easy? You brought up like that because it's part of habit. Why would God make everything easy?
Exactly.
Right. He's gonna make it hard for you. You brought up. This is what happened. He dropped you off in the hood. He said, "Figure this shit out." Right. Right. Now, I'm gonna give you a certain time in your life. You're gonna learn. You're gonna start smoking weed. You're gonna be exposed to sex at an early age, 9. You're gonna be exposed to porn at an early age. You're gonna be brought up in a society. Think about it real quick. Psalms 51 verse 5. From you. Like for example, I'll use myself as an example. Young age, watching porn, 9 years old. 13, fingering a woman. You know, having sex, kissing. You know, high school, smoking weed. Right. Going to parties, fornication. Right. High school, getting drunk, smoking weed. Right. College, having sex with all types of women, smoking weed, getting drunk, going to parties. Every level of my life, I'm keep on adding more to my resume. Look, now, Psalm 51 verse 5.
Book of Psalms, chapter 51 and verse 5. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity.
All of us was born and dropped off some part of our hood, and you was shapen by the environment that you was raised in. Some brothers was shapen as drug dealers. Some brothers ran with stick-up kids. Right. Some brothers ran with gangbangers because they don't have a father in the household. Right. They were shapen, and you're shapen by the environment that you raised up in and the company that you keep, and becomes a part of you. Some brothers were shaped with murderers. Some brothers were shaped with whoremongers. Right. So the people you associate yourself, the environment that you're raised in, is the person you become. Right. So it shapes you. It becomes you. Read on.
I was shapen in iniquity. And in sin did my mother conceive.
In sin did your mother conceive you. The things that your mother taught you. Your mother, like before I said, I was telling you about The Wire. The brother D'Angelo, my whole family was in a gang, drug gang. His mother was a gangster, a drug dealer, Lord. And she taught her son to be a drug lord. Now. It comes a point in your life, truth might be revealed to you.
Bring it out.
Give me that Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 11. Now, you come in life, you minding your own business. You walking down the street. Stop. Sit here. I'm going to show you something that you never know. I'm going to open your eyes to a society that you've been darkened by. Now, life starts then. The resume that you built from the time that you were born to the age that you're now, you got to clean that resume. Right. You got to start all over again. The pages, this is your book. You got to start from page 1. That page has to erase all the previous pages. You think that's easy? Hell no, that's not easy. Right. It's hard as hell. Right. Because you're going against who? You. You're going against yourself. Right. Read that.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 11. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill. But time and chance happeneth to them all.
Time and chance is going to happen to every one of us. Me, I came to the knowledge of the truth in terms of things I was doing wrong. Because everybody got some type of a spirit in you that you start looking at yourself. You said the person I'm looking at, that's not him. Right. Every black and Latino person, because why? We're the only people that's looking for something that we can't find. It's hidden because why? It's covered by the Matrix called America. Not knowing that the whole time you've been waking up, you thought you've been reading the book. You haven't been reading the book. Right. You've been reading through the eyes of your oppressors. Bring it out. Right. Everything that he taught you, been placed in your mind, and you're not even reading what's actually in here. Right. Because you read it, you know that you're the people on the side. You know that you're not Puerto Rican. What's your name? So what do they call you? Jamaican, African American? African American. You know that you're not African American. How you doing, brother?
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, His word, His word.